This backyard is all lawn. The weatherboard house looks more like something you'd see back home. The design is a simple concreted area featuring a series of curves. The flagstone circle being a feature at the center. First we marked out the lawn with spray paint. Then it was time to remove the grass and topsoil. We dug out 8 centimeters of soil to allow for a gravel base and a 5 centimeter pour. When that was completed, we had to remove all the discarded material. My photoshopped image started to take shape. Compacting the soil took place late in the afternoon. And the area was finally hosed down. The next day, we covered the soil with crushed gravel and compacted that. Using a hard plastic hose, I made a large ring and started to set the square brick border. Then it was time to place the base layer of cement. Now the fun began. Like a jigsaw puzzle, I started to lay out the stones on the hardened concrete. Once a fairly large section was laid out, I used a dryer mix and started setting the stones. The method used here was to compact the soil beneath. Add a layer of crushed gravel and compact it. Pour in a base layer of cement, being sure to keep the surface a little rigid. Adding a dryer mix so the flagstone can be tapped easily into place. Because we wanted the center of the pavement to be higher than the outside edges, I used a length of wood to make sure the stones were slightly peaking in the middle. This isn't really noticeable to the eye, but it will prevent any rain from pooling on the final product. By the end of the day, I had completed almost half. The next day, I started laying out the pattern for the remaining circle. The customer requested a compass offset from the center, which I had to work around. With the puzzle completed, it was time to set the remaining stones. The customer pointed out that one of the stones looked like a map of Australia, so with a little cutting, he was happy for me to include it in the design. While I was working on the flagstone, the other guys had prepared all the curved formwork using a flexible plywood that's easy to bend. With the flagstone now completed, all the formwork done, and wire mesh laid, it was time to do the surrounding concreting. Rather than paying a cement truck to sit around while we work, we lined our 2-ton with tarp and delivered the cement that way. Then it was all hands on deck to finish the concrete by day's end. All in a day's work. By next morning, the concrete was set and the formwork removed. Brown gravel was placed in the curves between each slab. The final job was to mortar the flagstone using a black mortar, which is very fine-grained. The mortar is pushed into all the gaps and then cleaned off with a sponge. The stones and surrounding bricks must be cleaned meticulously to avoid any staining from the mortar. First, a basic removal of excess mortar. And then a more thorough sponging of the flagstone. Finally, complete. In the next episode, I want to take you into my local community and a celebration carried out every winter. Tondo is a giant bonfire using bamboo cleared from the surrounding mountains. It's a great chance for the community to gather, eat, and of course, drink warm sake, heated inside a giant bamboo cane by the flames of the fire. Please subscribe to keep up to date with my adventures in Japan. But for now,
さようなら。